Undone Melody is another one of those tracks that's so different from the tracks that are before it or after it.
Right.
And again, it's more of that little guitar stuff, but
Right.
but again, it's very distinctly Plants and Animals. Can you speak about that track at all?
I think that's the longest one in the album, which is something that we've been known for, built a bit of a habit with. That one actually reminds me of the Park Avenue stuff in a sense more than the other ones, because it's got this up and down meandering, almost 3-part epic quality to it. That's the first song that's on the new album that we started playing live, actually, so we had a little chance to develop it on the road.
Is that something that you guys are conscious of when you're writing songs about how you're going to perform these songs live, and the instrumentation of the songs and just the jam quality to the songs, like
I think more than before, but we don't restrain ourselves to ideas we have. Like, we go, if we want something that we know won't be doable live, well, when we're in the studio, we work the song in the studio. But since that album was done after a lot of touring and more like, basically when we did Park Avenue, we had never toured, and this one we had a lot of touring behind us. I think it just, as we were working on the song, this was present, not necessarily like a conscious decision, but there was way less like jamming in the studio on a riff and then adding up stuff. It was more like, oh, this is a guitar part, this is the drum part, and it came together. So but at the same time, we will never stop an idea just because it won't be doable live. We'll figure it out later. We figure out the arrangement in rehearsal, and sometimes it's quite a trick, but I think we usually can do it. So we'll cross our finger and continue that way.
Kontiki's got to be one of those songs that's fun to play live, right?
Yeah, we've only played that live once, actually.
Really?
That's one we're just starting to work on.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
I mean, we need to practice to turn it into the kind of pina colada feel that it needs to have.
And it has a funny thing is that song was we track everything to tape, and we transferred the song in the computer just to listen at home, but transferred it at the wrong speed, and nobody knew. And it was just without vocals. It was just like instrument, and we're like, wow, we played really fast. We played really well. That's great. Then we realized it was a bit not that much faster, but a bit faster, because at the end we heard Woody saying like, "Oh, I think this is the right thing."
All of a sudden, Alvin showed up, and
like, oh my God!
Wait a second, what have we done here?
But when we put it back to speed, we're like, oh, we got to keep the fast speed. Yeah.
Let's talk a bit about the recording process, because there's something really legit about the sound of the record. And are you guys recording to tape everything, or is it all going through Pro Tools? Like, what's the process like for when you record stuff?
It's tape. We use Pro Tools for a little bit here and there, but we tend to limit ourselves to the 24 tracks you can get to on tape, and I think that's a part of our sound ultimately, because you don't get into that mentality where you can keep adding and adding and adding, and then finally edit later, throw out what you don't want. Every take, every track, every element is really important.
And how much of it? Sorry.
We even for that record we did the editing to tape. So we, like, when there was a part we wanted to get rid of, we would just cut the tape.
Get out the old razor blade.
The other process that took with American Idol, we wanted to add a few bars at the beginning, and that was probably something that would have took 20 seconds in the computer. It took like 3 hours of figuring out how to do it and splice the tape. Anyway, but it's really fun, because at the end it's rewarding, and the edit sounds actually really good compared to those kind of edit in the computer where you need to tweak things around to make it sound right. Like to tape, because of the way the sound move and the speed of the tape, it sounds really good.
So and you're consciously aware that you're doing stuff to tape and not to Pro Tools. So you, I guess, do more stuff live off the floor and all of that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. And
a lot of overdubbing, or not too much?
No, not that much. I mean, everything revolves around the core, which is us playing together, and,
right.
And then, we sometimes double lines, add other elements here and there, and the vocals are all almost always done later, but the roots are the roots, and I think that's made us work a lot harder at playing well together, and hopefully we carry that live as well. So
we got rid. I think we had a lot of overdub on a lot of songs that we got rid of during the mixing process. We came back to Warren mixed the record and came back to the band playing together. That's what was interesting in all the rough mix we had, was like, oh, the song worked without all those other elements that we added later. So it was a good revelation.
Is sequencing of the record important too when you're putting the thing together, because the sound is so eclectic? Is that something that either Warren or you guys all sit down together and figure out the order of the songs?
That's exactly why it's important, because it's eclectic, and when you have that kind of a roller coaster, the way one thing flows into another and then into another and into another, I think is integral. And we all try to think of a record as a record, and not a collection of songs independent of one another.
We ask everybody who sits down to talk about 5 records that inspire them to make music, and you mentioned Bowie, and you mentioned some of the Rolling Stones things. I imagine a band that's so eclectic in their sound has 5 really eclectic, and each one of you would probably have 5 records. But can we share, for now, 2 or 3 records from you, and then
For this
from
one,
Nick?
definitely Exile on Main Street from the Rolling Stones. We listened to that a lot in the van. Which one?
Yeah. Led Zeppelin 2. Or Houses of the Holy. I'm going to go Houses of the Holy.
Houses of the Holy.
Yeah, for this one. And now let's come into the present time, the contemporary era, because we're not all old all the time.
A lot of soul music. A lot of like R&B.
Fine, Motown.
There, that you've covered off the rest of them.
Yeah.
Any other bands that we should be looking out for from Montreal that we may not know about that's catching your ear?
Timber Timbre, Montreal Transplants. They played last night.
They're
but
awesome.
they put out a new record not too long ago that I think is really great.
Cool.
Yeah, there's our friend Katie Moore that just played last night too, an incredible singer, and there's also friends of ours that are going to be playing with us in April. The Bars Brother, amazing. They used to be in a band called The Slip, and they have their own thing now. It's harp, guitars, and drum. It's really
cool.
Incredible musician.
Yeah,
incredible drummer.
Brad Barr and Andrew Barr and Sarah Paget,
Cool.
really good players and good songs.
Well, thanks so much for dropping by, and thanks for the record. And hopefully when you swing by again, you can play for us when you're...
That'd be great. Thanks for
Sure.
having us.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.